Welcome to the Hoops Culture Podcast. We talk about all things basketball. And we got a special guest today, one of my boys, Jamal. Say what's up.
What's going on, guys? My name is Jamal. I'm very honored to be the first guest on this podcast. Uh, it's been a long time coming. I wanted to be on the first episode, but I wasn't ready. Alton took things off quickly, so I'm happy to be here now.
Yeah, so all of his socials will be in the description. You can follow him on IG, Snapchat, and I don't know if you're starting YouTube yet. You're gonna start YouTube or not? A little
Very soon, very soon. I have the channel made, but I still need to get the banner and all set up, so I'm not gonna give it out yet.
All right, I got you. So everything will be in the description. He's pretty knowledgeable. I mean, he's played the game. He's played the game of basketball himself. He was a demon back in the day.
Yeah, so I've a little basketball background. I've played basketball my entire life. Second grade was the first organized league, but most people listening are from Staten Island, so I played for Curtis all 3 years, I should say, because COVID. But played 2 years of JV. Sophomore year, was the captain of the JV team. We only lost one game that year. Took the Island and City chip. That was probably the best of the 3 years, because the next year we didn't have that good of a year on varsity. It was we were all my 2021 class, so my junior year we didn't have a very good senior class. So we didn't do that well, and our senior year was taken from us. So
Yeah.
but I've never been playing basketball long enough to have an eye for the game.
Yeah,
10 plus years.
but like when I say he was nice, he's probably still nice. So
Oh yeah, no. Most people listening to this podcast probably can't guard me. I'm not gonna lie, but there's probably there's a couple hoopers out there, so I'm gonna stay humble. But I'm definitely pretty good compared to the average player.
yeah, he's pretty good. So we were having some talks before. We were talking about overseas players like taking over the NBA.
Yes, the future.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on it?
So I mean, since the Dream Team, right, basketball has really been becoming more global each year, and really, I think this Olympics is kind of almost is probably the second most important Olympics when it comes to the expansion of like basketball becoming so global,
Yeah,
because the USA looks so not dominant compared to like how they even though they took the gold as they usually did, like even though the media took grasp of the fact that there's a chance of other teams actually being like contenders, I feel like basketball each year, the development of the youth development in other countries are growing more and more. You're gonna see some freak athletes coming through the NBA.
yeah. Like one of my things was that like in 2016, the Olympics, like the U.S. was just like steamrolling through everybody. Like it was unfair. Like in my opinion,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play if I wasn't from America.
yeah, but when it got to 2021, well, the 2020 Olympics, 2021, you saw like a lot of the guys can really just compete and like go off. And it wasn't like the US didn't have their key guys. Like, bro, they had Kevin
Yeah,
Durant,
they have Kevin Durant on the basketball
yeah,
team. I
Damian
mean,
Lillard, Zach LaVine, Devin Booker, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday.
yeah, this is an all-star team. All those players are.
Yeah,
I mean, these are superstars.
yeah,
Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard. These are the best players on their team. Kevin Durant's NBA champion, one of the best players in the league for the last since he came in the league. I mean,
yeah. Just great scorer, one of the best scorers ever. And
yeah, I mean, and when the run he just had with Brooklyn, he looked like
insane,
he
unstoppable.
he looked unstoppable. He looked like a scary man to guard. And then you have these teams with countries who don't have as much of a
Like
basketball legacy.
France.
France,
France almost beat the U.S. I think it was in the gold medal, right?
because France has
Rudy
because the
Gobert.
way their team is built differently. It doesn't even look. It looks like you ever seen it's like a car race, and they're not even made by the same company.
Yeah,
They have like a completely different look on the game as a team than America did.
yeah. Like one of my things about like overseas players is that, especially the guys who play in the Euro clubs, is that when they usually just don't go to school, you know? They just go straight to their clubs, and that's how they develop their skills. They learn from the ground up, and these guys aren't athletic like how the United States guys are, you know?
Luka is probably the prime example when it comes to somebody who grew up playing with a club,
Yeah.
and then their skills just seemed to be on a different. He has a different sense for the game than somebody who grew up through playing a basketball through the American AAU high school system. But that's also how they do soccer. So they're using a method that is well tested, has created some of the greatest athletes on earth, and now that they're implementing these things into basketball, the pure overwhelming talent pool that America has is starting to not seem so overwhelming anymore.
Yeah.
Because when you start adding in, and I'm not even so much worried about European players coming and dominating, because although there is going to be an increase, I'm really scared about these African countries once they really start getting youth developed. I mean, there's just genes on this earth. There's just people who walk around who are blessed with things that most people in America that are rare in America. You go to some of these African countries and 6'7", 6'8", running like a gazelle is common.
Yeah, like one guy I was thinking of was Jonathan Kuminga, who just got drafted to the Warriors.
I've seen Jonathan Kuminga in real life. I mean, he came to one of Curtis's. We played St. Patrick's.
Yeah, I remember
second team. Yeah, I remember they came out him, Noah, Farragon. They all came out with fresh new Kyries right after practice. Yeah,
man, bro, he's like he's a beast because he's so athletic, and once he came and like just has all the athletic ability, all he needed to learn was skill, and he got that right away.
And imagine this pool of athletic genes. Now you started to train them from youth, like really introducing them to high level basketball, giving them the chance, giving them the same opportunity, or even a portion of the opportunity Americans get to grow into a high level basketball player. If you start giving these 6'8", wildly athletic, somebody like me will have no chance.
Yeah.
You're 6'2", 6'3". The game is slowly developing to these freaks of nature who just are basketball demigods almost.
Yeah.
Between 6'7" to 6'9", running up and down the court, jumping, hitting threes. That's what the game is evolving to, and the amount of 6'7" people who are doing that from America aren't growing anytime soon.
Yeah, and like one guy I like to always think of is Joel Embiid too. And Joel Embiid is a monster because he's also not even just the fact that he's an athletic big who could actually move for someone being 7'2". Like, man, his skill is insane. Really, really good skill.
He has great touch. He actually could shoot the ball.
Yeah. It's not like you could really, like, the only way you stop him was because of his teammates. That was the only way you were going to stop him. And
that's the great thing about it, is that we're really seeing, like, these players coming over because of the growing youth development in these foreign countries. Like, it's not just this raw talent coming over the boat, just 7'2", and not know how to touch a basketball. You have players like Joel Embiid who really have the ability to really refine their game.
Yeah. One of the Euro guys I was actually thinking about was Nikola Jokic. Like, man, that guy cannot jump over a penny. And just look how, and he won MVP. Think about that.
I mean, he's another person. Like, when you watch certain people play basketball, and I really feel like this new generation, like, the players that really stick out are all the foreign players. Like, they all have their unique style that when you look at them, it's just, you can't really fit them into any box.
Yeah.
Like, you can't fit him into a box. Greek freak, his name says it all. He is a freak.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything like him for a reason, because he is not a common occurrence. Luka is another person. Who can you really compare Luka to?
I'd say, honestly, like, a lot of guys, the only guys you could really compare Luka to are, like, the greats. Just the guy.
Yeah, but he's a thing of his own.
Yeah.
His play style is a thing of his own. I mean,
if I were to compare someone to Luka, I'd say like someone like Larry Bird, but he just controls the game a little bit more than Larry did.
Yeah, and it's easy to see the resemblance between him and Larry Bird because they're both not super athletic, around the same height, and just kind of use their craftiness. Yeah. But it's their own breed of craftiness that these European players are coming over with that we're just not used to. I mean, I think I've seen a million American basketball games played. So when somebody comes who's a crafty European player and then comes into the American game, they have tricks up their sleeve that somebody with the most basketball experience in the world will throw them off.
Well, one of their things. Sorry to cut you off. One of their things is like they're also playing against grown men, like most of their lives. Just kind of like how soccer players play grown men from when they're young.
And that makes a big difference. My dad used to always tell me, like, he used to take me to parks to go play against older guys, and they could not be basketball players though. Like, I would be playing high level for my age, but when I go and play against subpar skilled men, it's just a different game. The strength, the physicality that you have to account for.
Yeah, because most of the times, that's just like helps evolve your skills so much because when you're a young guy playing against guys 25, 30 years old who are developed, man, you got to use your skill to the best of your ability.
And you really learn how to get around certain, like when you were younger playing against grown men, you're at a disadvantage. Yeah. So it's kind of like how small players are always crafty because they have to make up for their lack of height.
Yeah.
It's that same making up when you do something more strenuous and then you have to make up for that extra work, you're always going to get better with anything. With lifting weights, I mean, you start putting heavier weights on, you're going to start getting stronger. So
yeah, of course. And I really like where the NBA is going for the future. I don't like when people are just like, oh, the league's soft now, the league sucks, the league's this. Like, man, you should really be excited to see who's coming to the NBA.
I mean, everybody's playing under the same rules in the same time. So even if you think the rules are changing in a soft direction, everybody has to play under it. So the talent is unquestionable.
Yeah, for sure. Who would you say has been the best player that has came overseas in the last 10 years?
In the last 10 years?
Yeah, just off the top of your head.
See, you can just look back through the finals of the last 10 years and you'll really see, I mean, first we have to put the Greek Freak up there.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you could try to stay on the Greek Freak hate train for as long as you could, but that finals MVP makes it really hard now.
Yeah.
He's done it all. His resume is as complete as I think anybody I've ever...
Well, the one thing is that he's also... he also has a more complete resume at his age than LeBron James and Michael Jordan did at that age.
And it doesn't seem like he's like this is a championship that now all of a sudden he seems like he's going to continue on his train.
I think he will too. A guy that you got to put up Marc Gasol and Pau Gasol.
Pau Gasol. I mean. You gotta put Tony Parker,
Manu Ginobili,
that whole Spurs dynasty. Yeah. I mean, these players individually don't seem to have as much respect as
100%.
More freak of natures. But Tony Parker is a championship point guard to the T. I mean, that is a guy that if you have an organization, you want to put your organization in his hands. He's going to make the right decision.
For sure. Some more recent guys, Rudy Gobert, one of the best defensive players ever, by the way. He just gets shitted on too much. Excuse my language, but I don't understand how someone with 2 defensive player of the years, 3? 2 or 3?
I would never understand that. I always say I would love to have Rudy Gobert as my center. Yeah. I mean, that's what you want. You want somebody who can catch lobs and block shots and give 100% effort. That is a center that when I've played with guys like obviously, not the NBA talent and whatnot, but I played with guys with that same level of passion at the center position. They don't care about being flashy. They don't care about scoring. They're really
just to do
all in. They're all in for doing the dirty work.
Yeah,
and those are the type of players that. I mean, he hasn't been on that winning of a team yet, but
I'd say except for last year because they were pretty. They had a very good team last year.
No, they were a great team. But I'm talking about championship caliber.
Yeah, for sure.
He hasn't played. He hasn't. But those type of characteristics are what you look for if you're trying to build a championship team.
Yeah, for sure. Some other guys, Domantas Sabonis.
Another great one.
Yeah, another great player. I love watching. He's one of my favorite players to watch. Kristaps Porzingis kind of had a rough start, like as of late.
But he's another example of just a freak talent.
Yeah, the guy's 7'3", could do most things on the court. He's just had like a rough time fitting with Luka Doncic, which I understand because he was the guy on the Knicks for the time he was there. So it's a little hard to adjust. Especially since not last year, the year before that, he was injured a lot, and a little bit this last year. So
it is always complicated, and the league is always. You could be all talent in the world, but you need a little bit of things you can't control to make it work in the league. But Christoph Sporzing, I mean, we're Knicks fans, so every Knicks fan has a deep report on his talent, and sheesh. That guy is a freak. You don't want to step on the court and see a 7'3" guy start hitting threes.
Yeah, and that's
a scary sight to see.
And man, like one of his like good moves, like he would just like jab to the right, just dribble right in for like an elbow pull up, and like you don't see guys who are 7'3" just doing that. That's like a wing player's move,
He has it. He has all the skills to be a wing player. It's just that at 7'3", you can't move at the speed of a wing in the NBA because an NBA wing is very athletic. And at 7'3", it's hard to move that fast.
And especially
he'll hit your little side step, one dribble, pull up. He had it all in his bag. And he's 7'3", he doesn't have to do too much. I mean,
just shoot over guys mostly.
Yes. A few guys could really contest his shot. And the guys who can aren't that quick.
And it's not even like he's just like can't jump. Like the guy's pretty athletic. Like he's
7'3". Yeah, he's 7'3" playing on a 10-foot hoop. You don't want to meet him at the hoop.
Yeah,
he will dunk on you.
Yeah,
you don't have to jump over anything to dunk. He will dunk on you.
Yeah, for sure.
He will dunk on you.
I think the overseas guys are just gonna get better from every other country. I just can't wait to see what's the future for that. But a topic that I wanted to talk about and he wanted to talk about a lot was how like just youth basketball changed like post COVID, just like how kids' mentality changed.
So can I take a second? I just want to use my case as an example of what COVID was. So until junior year, I didn't have the best junior year on varsity, but it was my first year, and with the coach, it was weird fitting in, but my sophomore year, I was like considered one of the better players in my class. I mean, I was supposed to go play college basketball. Like, I was on that path, I would say. Like, as far as my skill, my height, my performance, and all that. But I think the pandemic, for not just me, but for everybody I know, it literally just took the floor from underneath you.
Yeah, I agree.
I was
that I thought I was gonna play like at least all 4 years of high school as well, and I wasn't thinking like the COVID restrictions would be till my senior year. No
way.
Yeah, and I'm a senior right now, so
I played AAU basketball my junior year because for some reason AAU basketball it's a lot less rules, like, since it's a countrywide thing.
Yeah.
So we were able to find tournaments in Pittsburgh, these conservative states. They were still letting sports go on, and throughout that AAU season, I had players on my team who played for St. Peter's. We were talking about Thanksgiving Eve. If you don't know, is Curtis for St. Peter's. SCSI.
Yeah, it's a big thing in Staten Island. Like
Huge
these are the
thing,
two
Staten Island.
best schools in Staten Island. One private, one public. These guys
Same
they
neighborhood
always play
ish, like
every
it's
year.
pretty
Yeah,
close.
yeah,
Biggest game of the year. Biggest game of the year. But we expected it to still happen. Just most recent Thanksgiving, but obviously we realized that my senior year was just a wash.
yeah,
They they just did whatever they could to just say everybody completed it, but everything was everything was gone. And then how was I supposed to get recruited when there was no tournaments?
yeah,
Really, the tournaments we were going to were like hole in the wall tournaments. They were kind of going under the radar. There were all the major tournaments, all the hoop jam sessions, all the big tournaments that we were supposed to play in got canceled. We were supposed to play in tournaments in front of so many college coaches that all of them got canceled. Go to Florida, go to Miami, go to Cali,
yeah.
all of it.
And one thing that kind of affected just like the tournaments was that like a lot of college scouts like they're not all like like not afraid of COVID, like because some of them
Yeah,
older guys you got to be careful and
yeah.
stuff.
Being a scout is all about experience. So the more experienced, the older. So you don't really find 30-year-old scouts.
Yeah,
Usually,
guys who aren't scared of COVID, like because honestly, like a lot of the
especially in the
tournaments are
beginning of it.
just packed, you know. So
And all
I
these tournaments weren't even allowing really spectators like that because it was all about occupancy. In order to have these tournaments run, they needed as small amount of people there as possible.
yeah, for
So
sure.
if you weren't on the team or coaching the team or refereeing the game, you were not allowed to be in the gym,
Yeah,
which made it very 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 difficult
yeah,
for anybody. I know kids who, the point guard for my team, he was a 3-year varsity player. He reclassed. I knew the star of our team, who Elijah, who was a D1 talent, in my opinion. He has to go to a prep school, and these are all not our original plans. These are all detours
yeah. It's
from
just
the original path.
it just sucks, man, because like a lot of people really did have different plans for how their high school seasons would go and what they would be doing. Like so many people just changed what they did just because of COVID, and it was just like just insane. Like I didn't think I was gonna be into content creating by this time, just because I thought I was gonna be doing other things like more basketball stuff, but that just didn't
Listen,
happen.
I've I've been working. I graduated 3 months ago now, 2.5 months ago, and I've been working full like throughout the week, like a regular job. Um, I don't want to say full time because it's not, but at times full time for over a year now. So school, like I feel like I graduated 2 years ago,
Yeah,
and it's weird to think that this is just now technically my first year off. I've already been used to being out of school for so long now. I couldn't imagine going back like you guys are.
yeah. I mean, it was pretty tough today because like so everybody got masks on. Obviously, you got to keep people safe, but like man, some of the conditions in the school are really bad, bro. Like there's no air conditioning, nothing. And
Yeah, those masks for 8 hours are not it.
yeah, I thank God I have a one period first period to fifth period, so I just leave a little early. But anyways, I think um I don't know. I think a lot of kids definitely just lost the passion for basketball, especially in New York because there was a couple months just no hoops outside too.
Yeah, listen. I've played basketball my entire life. I don't think you could write. Not in my work. I think you could make a scary movie where the government goes around taking the hoops off of the basketball
Yeah.
courts, and my 8-year-old self would have cried. Like, and this is a reality. I couldn't even go down the hoop. I couldn't even go down the park. I couldn't shoot a basketball hoop. Like there was no basketball hoops to even go shoot on.
Yeah, you just
Like,
had to luck out that you had a basketball hoop in your house or someone you knew had one and you were allowed to go there.
listen, basketball hoops were hunted. You
Yeah.
couldn't go to a park. You couldn't go to a gym. There was no such thing.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a 3-on-3. There's no such. I mean, basketball was out of commission for months,
Yeah.
which is a weird thing to live through.
And it's like in New York, like in New York City, all five boroughs, basketball is like a culture. It's part of the culture.
And
I
it never stops until now. So like, in order for as a kid, you switch where you want to be so quickly, for it to not be a thing for months. I mean, in those months, if all you've done is go to basketball tournaments, go to basketball games, go to workouts all your entire life, now for those 3 months, that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a panic to find out, well, what do I do now? Who am
Yeah.
I? What else is there to life? You're 16 years old and all you've done is play basketball, and now all of a sudden you're stuck in your house.
Yeah.
These aren't natural things. These aren't natural things. And I think for the future now, everybody who's had to live through this, I feel everybody's had to live through the pandemic in their youth basketball career is, if you made it through, then you're going to have an advantage because it thinned out the weak. But if you were in some of these crucial years, like my situation, where you don't really have a chance to correct it, then it really screwed over a lot of people.
Yeah. I believe that if the pandemic didn't happen, you would definitely be at a college right now, just hooping. But man, I mean, it's really hard to just do it now because also the thing with the colleges is that you're not getting the scholarships. Some colleges are really expensive.
Yeah, no.
And with the pandemic, less jobs. It's hard to pay off.
Listen, COVID has put nearly everything to a crumble, but at least now we have with like the life of the cycle of life goes, with death comes rebirth. So
Yeah.
at least now we can worry on about what we're going to grow from this situation. We got this YouTube channel starting up.
Yes, sir.
This is definitely not going to be my last appearance on this channel.
No, there's going to be many more. And before we finish off, I wanted to say one thing. We are going to actually do IRL basketball stuff eventually.
That's just what I was about to say. Yes, the IRL basketball videos are coming soon. The podcast is going to be a continuous thing, to connect with the people. But IRL videos, the hooping, giving people 30, the games to 21 are coming soon.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not going to be trash games. We're going to try to get the most competitive games we can.
And listen, if you listen to it this far, that means you're probably a real one. If you listen to it this far, that means I'm probably going to end up playing you. So everybody who's staying active, you comment down below. Comment down below what park you want to see us go to, and we might have to make a video after there.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, all his socials will be in the description. Check him out. He actually does sell sneakers.
Yes, come get your drip up. Follow me on Instagram at Jamal11.
If you want to get your drip up, check out his Instagram. I'll put a Snapchat there too. If you want to get your drip up, go to him. So we're gonna end it off here. See everybody next episode on Wednesday, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Peace.